I think I had said previously I didn't want to watch this movie again, um, because of the sexualization of Harley Quinn and some of the stuff that happened on set. But I decided that, you know what, I think watching it just one time and doing a review about it wouldn't hurt. Um, there's a lot of things about this movie. Katana's in it, but she doesn't do that much. I do want to talk about her later. Due to something that happened in a later movie, but for now, I'm not going to talk about her. She's played by the same girl that's in The Boys, so that's pretty cool. I watched the extended cut. I don't know how much that added. Rick Flag is here. People said he was really generic in this movie, and the new Suicide Squad movie improved his character. Um, I'll have to agree a little bit, but I don't think he was that generic. He was okay. He did what his job was for the movie. Deadshot's fine. Harley Quinn is decent. By far my favorite performance is Captain Boomerang, which I think is pretty unfortunate due to the new movie. Jared Leto fucking is something else. Um, and there's also Diablo and Slipknot. Slipknot does not get a scene. Um, Everybody else, it shows why they're arrested or how they got into police custody. They do not show one for him, and he just kind of randomly shows up. I guess they had caught him recently or something because Captain Boomerang also randomly shows up in a body bag, like a big brown bag. Um, I find it funny that Captain Boomerang tries to do like basically as least as much as he can, but for some reason he complains when Diablo doesn't do anything. They should have had somebody else criticize Diablo because like for the longest time he's sitting behind a car drinking and he only gets involved when someone tries to attack him. Um, Rick Flag's character is in love with Enchantress. Amanda Waller had planned for that because it's Amanda Waller. She has a ruthless scene where she kills a bunch of her employees because they weren't um, authorized to see that, but it was emergency, so she needed them there. I had completely forgot about that scene. It brings a lot more depth to her character if you remember it. I don't think I can forget it now. I might end up in the future, but I doubt it. It's a pretty good scene. Katana is there to help Rick Flag in case one of the villains try to kill him. Even though Amanda Waller already has a plan for that, I guess it's not bad to have backup. But she's like, if you try and kill him, we're gonna blow your head up. So, or if anything wrong happens to him, even if it's not their fault, if he dies, they die. It's literally motivation. Um, Most of this movie is spent just developing the characters, and they're just walking around the streets, occasionally fighting Enchantress's little minions that are super easy to kill, and just walking and walking and walking. And then they get mad at Rick Flag when they find out he knows more than he's letting on. Um, this movie just it's not the greatest. Um, they take down Enchantress by tricking her, like Harley's pretends that she's gonna join her side, but she doesn't. Um, they don't even give Captain Boomerang a thing in that scene. Everybody else, has like a normal life that they kind of want to have, or Diablo wants his kids back or something. And, um, obviously Floyd, Deadshot, wants his daughter back, but Boomerang doesn't get anything. Even like maybe him robbing a bank again as a little gag that he's kind of selfish compared to everybody else. But they just kind of skip over him. They defeat Enchantress. Um, they're able to cut a deal with Waller because after all they went through, she decides to be a little bit more polite and, you know, give them more. Harley asks for a machine maker, like a coffee thing. Um, Deadshot wants to see his daughter. Killer Croc gets a TV and a bunch of real food. Since we had seen earlier in the movie, he was just getting fed slop. And Captain Boomerang doesn't get any because he didn't want to go back to prison. He doesn't get anything. So poor Boomer, just for him to die in the next movie. Um, I kind of find it weird that a lot of stuff is not mentioned in the new Suicide Squad. Yeah, I know it's written by James Gunn, and he loves picking and choosing what he wants to be canon, which I personally just find really stupid. It makes it so annoying to try and keep up. Like, oh, this thing from this movie, I want to keep it canon. But from that same movie, half of the movie I don't want to keep canon. It's just so dumb. Like recently with season one of Peacemaker, he's decided that pretty much everything in that show is canon besides the Justice League cameo at the end. Like he just picks and chooses what he wants to be canon, which I guess is his right as a writer, but it's just really stupid in my opinion. Suicide Squad 2021. Um Rick Flag is supposed to have a protector, right? In case the villains try and kill him. Sure, they had Harley and Boomerang there, but pretty much everybody else, I'm assuming it was like their first squad besides Michael's character who plays Yondu. I forget his other name. I only remember his first name. Plays Yondu in the MCU because Amanda tells him he knows the drill. Um, so he's probably been on the Suicide Squad before, but Weasel and all of them probably haven't. Um, you'd think he would have Katana there, you know, if he's supposed to have a protector, or just even somebody else if they didn't want to get that actor again or recast her or whatever. They could have had a different person there to protect him. But I guess they wanted to write that part out. And then on top of that, you know, he has a happy ending with Enchantress, you know. She doesn't end up having to die. He doesn't end up having to kill her like he thought he had to. Um, so where's an Enchantress then? He never mentions her in the 2020 movie, from what I remember, the 2021 movie. Um, and with Harley Quinn, she had ended Birds of Prey with having a whole ass kid to take care of now. And we never get Cassandra Cain mentioned in that movie either again. It's just so weird, all the stuff that James Gunn does not mention and just doesn't want to be canon. Um, Honestly, this movie just really wasn't good. It's kind of boring. And like I said, it's just some of the characters are interesting, some aren't. Um, I did not realize that the guy that plays the Red Guardian in the MCU and is also in Stranger Things, I believe his name is David Hotward Thorne, is in this movie. He's the one that delivers the iconic line from the trailer. That was what made me want to see this movie back when it originally came out, because I saw the trailer for this movie. Um, what if Superman decided to rip the top of the White House? Rip the top off the White House and kidnap the president? Nobody would have been able to stop him. Um, I find it funny how the mission pretty much fails, but they're allowed to keep doing this. Um, it's an alright movie, but honestly not worth your time. Just because some of the characters have a personality doesn't mean you have to watch it. Jared Leto's performance just is really bad, besides one scene where he injects this dude with a bomb in his neck because he breaks into Waller's lab, with the help of a corrupt racist cop that harasses Harley and Diablo in the prison. He harasses other people like Killer Croc, but those are the ones I remember the most. Um, Joker convinces him to help him in a very uncomfortable scene. And yeah, he injects this guy in the neck. And before he says it, he's like, "Oh, what's this do?" And I like the delivery of it, but that is it. Jared Leto, famously in this movie, has a damaged tattoo um, on his forehead, which is just so stupid. But I do want to point out probably the stupidest thing is the mouth tattoos on his hands, because this is supposed to be the abusive version of Joker, the toxic version of Joker. So that's just funny to me because that means he's over here hitting Harley Quinn with a mouth tattoo on his hand. It's so fucking stupid. He ends up presumably dying in a helicopter crash, but at the end of the movie, he shows up and helps Harley Quinn escape from prison. And we don't see her again until Birds of Prey, where it ends up starting off the movie immediately breaking up with Joker. Um, so that really didn't go anywhere. You know, at least they wrote her out of prison. Um, just this movie is something else. Also, Jared Leto, even though, as you can see, that this is a pretty male dominated cast because Amanda Waller isn't in much of the movie and Enchantress is the villain. And Slipknot dies, so just pretend he's not even on the cover. That makes him have um, 5 co stars that are men and 2 that are women. But he openly admitting to method acting by sending his female co-stars used condoms and dead rats because he wanted to be like the Joker. I would like for him to point out where that happened in the comics, because I've read a lot of Batman comics and I've never heard Joker do that. Just sounds like he likes sexually harassing and freaking out women. Um, so yeah, that's the first Suicide Squad. A lot of people say it's one of the few movies where the sequel is better than the original, and I can't help but agree.